It's the Weekly Wrap with your host, broadcasting legend Bruce Wolf, and his trusty sidekick, comedian Tim Slagle. And now, without further ado, Bruce Wolf.
Bruce Wolf on the Weekly Wrap, and now it's time for my favorite part of the show, wherein I guess what's in Tim's background. Tim, I'm going to say this is a slam dunk. You have discovered the Shroud of Turin, and the image is not of Jesus, but it is of a dead Donald Trump who passed away this past weekend. Am I right about this?
You are so close.
Okay.
It would appear that someone moved the stone, and it's just an empty hole.
Exactly. Well, yeah. So I basically got it. You got the.
Yeah, I score that as a get.
Yeah, that's a get. It's close enough. It does say, because your head is covering it, it says ump on the tombstone, but now I see the Trump part. That's fine, because I thought that was the grave of Angel Hernandez. The Chris could explain. That's a notorious baseball umpire who
Sure.
people wanted excommunicated. Anyway, the thing is about Trump, because of the Labor Day weekend, I didn't even know about this until Tuesday. So the big question is, where were you when you found out that Trump was actually alive?
I'm the same way. I didn't find out about it until I heard the press conference where he says, I don't do a press conference for 2 days and you assume I'm dead.
Yeah.
The last guy didn't do one for 2 years.
There you go. Well, I mean, and the thing is that he was actually tweeting. It wasn't like he was incognito during that time, but he just wasn't where people wanted him to be, I guess. So it reminds me. It reminded me of when Paul McCartney was rumored to be dead. Do you remember that at all? You're a little too young for that.
I remember it in retrospect. I remember it when they were tracing back where the rumor started and why the rumor continued.
Yeah.
It's when it actually happened. Now I was too young, but that doesn't even remind me of that. It reminds me of several celebrities over the past several years, and I can't remember the most recent one where somebody said just passed away, and all of a sudden it goes through the internet like wildfire, and
I saw, and I always fall for these. I saw like one about 10 days ago that said Clint Eastwood was gone. And, then I Google and I'm thinking, well, Google isn't really that good anymore. So he probably is dead. No, he wasn't dead. So Chris just put up a screenshot of Stephen Colbert's audience booing after Colbert declared Trump is very much alive. You know who is dead? Stephen Colbert. So yeah,
he's going to show up. He's going to show up on a podcast, right? I imagine.
Oh, sure.
He'll be on a podcast. Decide, it's not as much fun to do the show when you don't have 200 writers, and you have to come up with your own material.
$500,000 each. These writers were getting. That's what I heard.
Yeah, that's what I told you.
Well, yeah, exactly. I heard it from Tim Slagle.
So it's gotta be true,
right? This is kind of like the continuous loop that was during the Russian hoax, where they were quoting the story, newspaper story, which was quoting the FISA warrant, which was quoting the newspaper story. It was a wonderful feedback mechanism.
Yeah, they were laundering information through the media. Yep.
Yeah. I think I may have mentioned this before, but I remember when the rumors were rife that Paul McCartney was dead, and I was in my junior year in high school. The U.S. history teacher basically had given up because nobody wanted to study at all. I was the only one in the class. I read the textbook on my own. I probably should have taken AP U.S. history, but I thought, let's just take the regular history. And, the people in there they didn't care at all throughout the entire year. And finally, he said, well, what do you want to study? Because, I can understand people being tired of studying the Stamp Act. And, you get bogged down in things that happened in the 1770s. and before you know it, it's May, and you haven't even gotten to Reconstruction. So and that happens. But so he said, so at the time, everybody was worried about getting drafted for Vietnam. Let's study the Vietnam War. And I remember the teacher, remember his name, Hayward Wood. He was an old guy, well-meaning, smart guy. And he starts writing things on the blackboard like Gulf of Tonkin resolution and other things, and discovered within days, if not minutes, that nobody really wanted to talk about that either. Okay. And so finally, I mean, just at one point, he sees no feedback, no reaction from the class. And he says to some girl, Susie, is Paul McCartney dead? Oh, no. That was the immediate reaction.
Yeah, that's about the time that colleges started offering courses in the Beatles study.
Oh, sure.
Absolutely. And stuff
right.
like that.
No,
I felt old. I remember feeling old. I was talking to a comedian, and she said she has history. I think she was got a master's in history. And I said, "Oh, really? What was your focus of study?" She says, "Cold War."
Wonderful. Yeah.
Like, oh, that. You're right. That is history now, isn't it?
It's history. It's history. No, I feel sorry for the kids nowadays because they have so much more U.S. history than I had to study, and there's no way they can actually, get through it without truncating some of the more important moments. Like the presidency, for example, of Benjamin Harrison, as you well know from me every other week reciting the list of the presidents in order, my little parlor trick, that he was the tweener between the terms of Grover Cleveland. So that's our little history lesson for today. Now, says here
he
in this
was
little
he was
chart,
first to use the auto pen.
So yeah, what's the latest on all those pardons? Are they in jeopardy, or is that in limbo?
I think we'll learn. I think
Yeah.
think as these grand juries move forward, eventually they're going
Yeah.
to subpoena somebody that's on the pardon list, and they're going to go, "Oh no, yeah, I'm immune."
Exactly. Then we'll have the whole issue litigated up to the
Go,
Supreme Court.
Yep, all
about
the way.
About whether the auto pen pardon
And it will give the Democrats another excuse to pack the court the minute they have the power.
Oh, yeah, that's what I mean. How long can I saw a graph about a week or so ago of the longest tenured Supreme Court justices, and Clarence Thomas was really climbing on the list. Chief Justice Marshall was like fourth on the list, but I gotta say, you got to weight these differently because you've got to take a look at what the lifespan was back then and how it is now. So, I would say that Marshall wins going away because people didn't live that long back then. Clarence Thomas should easily go another 30 years, but
not to mention the working conditions. I mean, before air conditioning, I think those robes were probably awfully hot.
Horrible. They're walking through the mud to get to the Supreme Court.
Yeah, it was not the nice job it is now. I don't think Clarence Thomas should leave until we figure out a way how to clone him.
Yeah. Well, that'll be the interesting thing because that'll be the next, forget the auto pen. The next thing will be, like the auto justice. It'll be an AI version. Why can't you just make an AI version of your favorite Supreme Court justices and just nominate them at some point? We'll be facing that issue as well.
That actually would be an interesting experiment if I was more of a computer geek, to actually assemble 9 AI judges based on the justices that are there, and then just run decisions through that panel and see what comes up. That would
absolutely, and have AI briefs submitted with fabricated cases, which has actually happened. Why that's happened, but I am an attorney, and I'm telling you, it's right. It's right around the bend that so much legal work is going not just mere secretarial work either, but I mean maybe up to and including closing arguments delivered. uh,
Well,
by
the thing with legal work though is
yeah,
it's so based on the predecessors and stuff that's already out there that
yeah.
it's yeah, it can. Somebody once, an attorney once pointed out to me, he said, you know how you comedians, like if you do a joke that someone else belongs to someone else, it's a bad thing. He said, attorneys are proud of that. If someone
Hey,
writes a
it's all about
great contract,
precedent.
if it's where someone writes a great contract, everyone uses that
Of course,
contract.
sure. It's the form, no matter, even if it's lousy and the error is built in. Oh no, we've been doing it this way for a long time, and we're going to continue to do it this way. So, but the latest on Epstein is that the victims don't want to names released because it will harm a lot of people, and it made Nancy Mace cry. And nobody can make a connection to Trump, although they were even asked by an NBC reporter,
Begged
is
them,
Trump involved?
begged them.
Yeah, please say Trump. And so are they gonna? But then I saw something else. Oh no, they're gonna say Trump. Well, where is it? Doesn't seem to be there. You think it would be there already if it was actually there?
Did NBC News actually run that clip? Because I
Oh,
know a
where they
lot
said
of,
no.
yeah, where
Oh,
they said no. Because
I don't know.
all I saw on David Muir last night
Hmm.
was Trump still claims it's a hoax.
Right.
And the no,
Republicans
oh no,
bounce.
this is not a hoax. That's insulting to say it was a hoax. I mean, that's the story now, which I think is Trump's strategy. Is
My
that the
question
longer
is,
he,
why was David Muir doing World News Tonight uh, in a sleeveless shirt? I, why was he doing it? Because it's warm. I mean, after Labor Day, are you supposed to go sleeveless on
I mean,
the ABC News Tonight?
well, he was off Labor Day weekend. Maybe he's got some rug burns on his elbows.
Bruce Willis legal on the Weekly Wrap. Bruce Wolf, Tim Slagle on the Weekly Wrap. Okay, so my question is, are the feds coming into town this weekend? Are the tanks rolling in to the Daily Center, i.e. Tiananmen Square, or not? I've heard different reports. Is it going to be a surprise? What's going to happen here?
Well, it seems to me, I mean, it's my original theory was he was just going to keep saying it to kind of disparage the governor and the mayor.
Mm.
But it appears that ICE is coming in this weekend. Is that they're gonna do a crackdown in Chicago, and I'm guessing they're hoping that it incites a riot.
So there's Ray Long. You see the Tribune, the front page of the Tribune. Pritzker braces city for federal incursion. Wasn't incursion the word that Biden used with regard to Putin going into Ukraine? This is our government going into an incursion. Is that that to me is a loaded word?
Yeah,
Am I
it's
wrong?
well, unfortunately, to me, it has a big whiff of Fort Sumter. Is that he's got National Guard troops stationed up out at Great Lakes,
Mhm.
ready to come in if trouble happens, and then ICE is going in on the front line, and they're hoping, I think they're hoping that everybody resists the ICE, and then that gives them the reason to declare an emergency, and here comes the National Guard.
Here comes the definition put up by Chris. An aggressive entrance into foreign territory, a raid or invasion. Foreign territory is the the operative one of the operative terms there. Um,
Well, a sanctuary, the notion of a sanctuary city is a little bit
sure,
Confederate, don't you think?
there's no question about it. Now I know our friend Alderman Lopez, who's been on the show a few times, said, what you're going to have, and I think this is what happened in Washington. I mean, and because of was it posse comitatus? The troops can't really do much, but they can be here, and they could like stand around Buckingham Fountain and the Bean and all the landmarks and protect them, while the Chicago police actually crack heads somewhere. I mean, that it's just a manpower situation. And I mean, you had the mayor of Washington, D.C. saying that it worked. And how about this? David Axelrod, of all people, Axelrod said that Democratic mayors should really stop challenging Trump, and they should say, how can we work together? Because, it's like a 90-10 issue. people don't want the government resisting police efforts to make the city safe. And here's the problem with doing that, David, if I may be a political consultant for a second. Once you do, and I understand why they won't do it. Once you agree to do that with Trump, you're conferring legitimacy on Trump. And the Democrats, I mean, it's very difficult to wrap your head around the idea that you're going to cooperate with Trump on bringing the troops into your city when with the other side of your mouth, you're saying that he's bringing in the stormtroopers because he's a Nazi. So it's interesting, and it's interesting to see how you get the former mainstream Democrats like Axelrod saying we're putting ourselves on a limb here, and Trump's winning the issue.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, was it Lopez? Was he the one that said that he would welcome the National Guard?
I didn't see him say that directly, but I think that was the gist of what he was saying.
Yeah, one of the I know one of the aldermen kind of
Lopez is I mean, Lopez is all about favoring the police and that's, I mean, he's in the minority, but now, did you see the great mayor Brandon Johnson once again blaming guns from Indiana? And okay, I'm willing to. Here's my trade. Go ahead, blame the guns from Indiana, but how about getting the feds to prosecute straw purchasers like the moms and the girlfriends? All you have to do is throw a couple of them in jail, and that ends straw purchasing, and that ends because these gangbangers can't get the guns legally. So sure. I'll make the trade though.
Well, here's one thing, and this is kind of interesting, is that Illinois police, for a while, were going through our Indiana fireworks stores, because there are a whole bunch of fireworks stores right on the border, and writing down license plates and radioing them ahead. Mm-hmm. So it would most certainly be, that you could do the same thing with gun shops, couldn't you? Looking for the Illinois.
I guess so. Sounds like it would be reasonable. But and yet we don't.
Not from a Second Amendment standpoint, mind you.
No, I get that. Have you ever been a victim of a crime in the city of Chicago?
Outside of petty stuff, no. I used to have a convertible, and it used to my convertible was violated often.
No,
but that was pretty much it. Never really.
In 1967, a friend and I were crossing the bridge to Marina City, and we had a couple of older kids essentially mugged us. I ran like well, I actually had a justification because I was running to get like a cop. When I came back, my friend was okay. All right, that's
my defense, Your Honor.
That's the story I'm going with. And then we went into the Marina City Bowl, and we were so nervous that we just bowled like 4 or 5 games, and there was an older guy just sitting there watching us. So we were afraid to leave the bowling alley too. I don't think I went downtown by myself till I was an adult.
So your buddy eventually caught up with you.
I ran back to get him, and there was nobody there. He was walking from the bridge, and he didn't seem much the worse for wear. I don't think they got any money off him, maybe $1 or something like that. And
he said, "Nice dash, track star." you're paying for the shoe rental
At
because
the very least.
I'm broke now.
At the very least. Oh yeah, yeah. Anyway, so what do you think of this guy Graham Linehan? I think that's how you pronounce his name. So I think he's a comedian, and all he did was make some tweets that were anti-transgender. I don't even know what the tweets were. He wasn't calling for the lynching of transgenders, but as soon as he gets back to the UK, he is arrested by a phalanx of British police, and he's charged with I don't know, a hate crime.
Yeah.
It's
there's no
caused a row.
There's no First Amendment in the United Kingdom.
Right.
I mean, this has long been established that comedians in Canada were being arrested and fined for making lesbian jokes. A few years back. So it's nothing new. It's
here's the thing.
The reason why the tea went into the harbor. Okay.
Well, my wife and I watch a lot of British cop shows. They always seem more authentic. It's the British accent. They're always sophisticated. You think about Slow Horses and MI6. And I'm always proud of myself that I don't say M16. Oh yeah, I know it's MI6. And James Bond, before a woman plays him. Yeah, they're sophisticated, cultivated, they know how to do the job. But the reality is that you should really have British police nailing the Monty Python crew for their obscenities. And I'm
well, there was one Monty Python sketch where the comedy police actually came in and arrested them for I think repeating a premise too many times.
So, and Malcolm Gladwell is converted. Little conversion therapy for Malcolm Gladwell. He admitted that he had been cowed into supporting transgenders in women's sports, but now he's changed his mind, and he admitted that he was intimidated. So I wonder if that is a hate crime.
But changing his mind.
Now on the wrong side. He's now on the wrong side. So, but it does seem like the tide is turning against the trans.
So he's a trans supporter.
Right. It's like a double negative.
He decided to identify as a trans opponent.
I have a problem with Malcolm Gladwell because he wrote that book, David and Goliath. I don't know if you recall it. It basically was, if you really look and really study the facts, it's not as surprising as you think, because Goliath had this eye disease and it completely negates the notion that God had anything to do with David winning, which is the whole point, of course, of putting it in the Bible. But so, I wonder if Malcolm Gladwell will take that one back as well, as long as he's repealing some of his prior notions. Well, all right.
The only Davy and Goliath I remember was a talking dog.
Totally. I love that animation. How the hell did they do that? And my mother is saying, what are you watching that? What do you, we were watching the Jewish show with Tiny Tove early in the morning. Then all of a sudden the Christian one comes on after that. And next thing you know, I'm genuflecting, but just moving my mouth. Bruce Wolf, Tim Slagle on the Weekly Wrap. Bruce Wolf, Tim Slagle on the Weekly Wrap. And did you see where Tim Kaine, didn't he run for vice president? I'm trying to remember.
He did.
Yeah,
Under
with Hillary.
Clinton.
Yeah. So he said at some sort of Senate hearing yesterday that our rights don't come from God. And,
Yeah.
I just leafed through the declaration. We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their creator with unalienable rights. So, I mean, how did he say that?
Well, when your highest power is the state, of
Yeah.
course, of
Yeah.
course, he doesn't believe in God. But essentially, he believes that all rights come from the state. I mean, that's the left-wing mantra.
Yeah. All right. All right. Hey, it was a good day. We're recording this on Thursday. So Barry Weiss, you familiar with her? The Free Press? She's kind of heterodox.
Okay.
She the Paramount, which owns CBS, is gonna just bought her. Well, this actually is Bruce's Jews news. Barry Weiss, I think, is Jewish as well. Um, the
I could look that up for you if you'd
I
like.
think Barry Weiss is Jewish, but in any event, they're going to buy it between 100 and 200 million dollars, and she's going to get to retain or be given control over CBS News. Roll over Walter Cronkite. Tell Eric Sevareid the news, and I'm glad. Go ahead, roll over, you dead old man. I'm serious. This is a water. It's not like Fox. This is one of the big three is fully surrendered. And that's a moment. Now there will be an effect, I believe, because once she takes over CBS News, I predict that within 5 to 10 years, that I will be named lead news anchor of the Channel 2 News, which has been on hospice, in hospice for about the last 20 years anyway. And, and I'll come on there and I'll say, you can watch either me or the person who's called a ditz by Grego on Channel 7. And if you guys want, you can change channels when the weather comes on and watch Cheryl Scott because she's gorgeous. But, or just look at your iPhone if you want to see what the weather is. I'm thinking that's happening. So Tim, I'm telling you, within 10 years, I may not have time, or maybe this podcast will be the Channel 2 News at 10 o'clock.
I'd like to take over that 60-minute slot. I think that would
for CBS.
I think that 60-minute slot would be a good place for this show.
Oh, so
Sunday night.
So if she takes over CBS, yeah, she's former New York Times writer Barry Weiss. Jewish values are bigger than any fancy title. Okay. That's a headline from the Times of Israel. Be interesting.
Huh.
Another piece of good news is that the Northwestern president, or what I call the University of Qatar, Evanston, resigned. And it's amid Northwestern caving to the Hamas supporters back last year or so, and making a deal with them, and then the pressure that was put on Northwestern to abide by the law, Title VI, I believe, and or lose hundreds of millions of dollars, and Northwestern decided to axe President Schill. So that's good news.
So how many
lots of good things happen.
How many university presidents have we lost now? It's since Trump was elected.
Right.
I mean, it's
right.
got
started with rings.
It's I think he should have like a little on side of Air Force One. He should have like mortarboard stickers every time he gets another one down, kind of like the World War II pilots.
And here's a story I really like. They found like 100 cars in the Chicago River. And it's there's this group that searches for missing persons, and while they're looking, they find out all these cars. And my question was, let's dredge them out, I don't know, you're not a native Chicagoan. You have Earl Scheib paint them for $29.99. Send them over to Burt Weinman Ford at 3535 North Ashland Avenue, and resell them.
Well, first you have to get the human remains out of the trunk.
Okay, all right, fair enough. Fair enough.
I would like to see. I would like to see them, though. I would like to see, how far back those cars go. I mean, are there some really nice, like 1930 Buicks in there?
Oh yeah, yeah. What kind of car was it that Teddy Kennedy drove off the bridge?
That would be an Oldsmobile.
Oh, that was an Olds. Okay,
That was an Oldsmobile. Yeah,
yeah.
it's of course we can all remember the joke that National Lampoon got in trouble for is that if Teddy Kennedy had a Volkswagen, he'd be president today. Because Volkswagen advertised that they floated. Yes.
Yeah. Exactly.
It was actually because there was actually a variant of the Volkswagen that was used in the war called the Schwimmenwagen that actually had a propeller on the back of the engine.
Sounds a little scary. Sounds a little
amphibious.
Tim, a little trivia question for you. Do you remember who Robin Westman was?
I do not. I don't even know if it was a boy or a girl.
That's the that's the question, of course.
Oh.
Robin Westman was the transgender murderer from last week.
Oh, I'm not allowed to say that. I just allowed. He's the big homo. If you were listening last week, I say we never say the shooters' names.
That's right. That's right.
Always call them the big homo so that they don't get the infamy they desire.
I see. Now we're going to get in trouble, like that Graham guy or whatever it is in England, because we didn't refer to him in the proper way.
Well, you're misgendering her. I think you're using the wrong pronouns anyway.
Yeah, you're right. We're not. Yeah, that was our policy, which I violated right there. I was just trying to come up with a trivia. I just thought that people might forget.
I did. I actually did.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Did you see? Nice tweet from Baron Trump tweeting, which is interesting, that Robin Wright is leaving the country. Now, and speaking of Robins, we're all Robin all the time. What?
I always wondered about Christopher Robin myself because he wore Mary Jane's.
Oh, by the way, it's not the real Baron Trump, according to Chris. I mean, half the things are total. Well, it's not fake that she's saying that she's going to leave the country.
It's fan account.
Oh, it's a fan account. Okay,
it literally says it.
You have to remember that I didn't have my glasses on when I was reading the fine. I didn't see the fine print.
Bruce's
Robin Wright does say she's leaving the U.S. Am I right about that, or is this just fabricated?
I thought I heard that she was.
Okay. All right. So now that we've got that established, even though it's only a fan account, I mean, she does have presidential experience, having been the president on a House of Cards. There's one scene.
Was she president or just first lady? I
think at some point. I think at the very end, she may have ascended to the presidency.
After he had to leave for the sexual harassment scandal.
Yeah. Do you? Still remember one scene. She was vicious. There's this guy. Do you recall? He had this real romantic interest in her, and he's in a hospital bed, and she comes in and she puts her hand under his blanket and starts to and she does it to taunt him. Well, do you want it or don't you? I mean it was just I think that was one of the cruelest things. I don't know why, but it just feels like, okay, give me a minute here. Let me brace myself, Robin. Right?
I think she was based, that character, I think it was based on Hillary. I think that was the intention with
but she's too attractive. She was too attractive to.
Well, they're always more attractive in Hollywood. You know how
I guess you're right.
That's how that's the popular girl at school is they get cast cheerleaders for that role. For the nerdy girl, they cast cheerleaders and put glasses on them.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's no one unattractive
Speaking
in
of Hollywood, Jason Bateman says that Trump voters, if you know a Trump voter, you should just shake them and educate them and read the riot act to them. And of course, everybody's pointing out it really must be a tough Thanksgiving for him with his sister, who is, I mean, she's as red as you can get. So
Is she?
Yeah,
Justine?
yeah, Justine. And
Yeah, but he's still working. So what does that tell you?
that's true. And of course, and this has been mentioned before. I mean, everybody sees this. It's fascinating that he played the same character in Arrested Development as he did in Ozark. It's just one's a comedy and one's very dark, but it's the same guy. The exec who doesn't know has cascading problems, is always trying to think his way out of it. And I mean, there's a fine line between the comedy of Arrested Development and somebody falling from a penthouse floor in an Ozark and to his death in the middle of Chicago.
Have you ever seen a Tim Allen vehicle where he did not play Tim Allen? I mean, that's the way it is.
Yeah,
some
right.
people are so, to his benefit, it worked out through three series now, I think, is Tim Allen. Poor Fred Gwynn had to wear the monster suit the rest of his life. Gilligan was buried in the red shirt.
Yeah, no, I get that. Well, does anybody? There are actors who do have range, right?
Yeah,
I mean, Alec Guinness had it.
Sure. Yeah, there are.
Marlon Brando. I could have had class. Well, you know what? I'm thinking right now. Stella. I could have. That's pretty much the same. Okay.
yeah, Marlon
on the Weekly Wrap. Bruce Wolf, Tim Slagle on the Weekly Wrap. I hesitate to get into sports. I know you don't like it that much, but are you even familiar with Red Zone? What that is?
I don't think so.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you know what? You're going to be joined by legions of former Red Zone fans. It's a feature. It's on Sunday mornings during the football season because one game is not enough to watch at a time. You need to watch up to 8 games at a time. And they have like 8 screens going, and so
Red Zone is you can divide your TV screen into 8 different
They divide
sections?
it for you. Come on,
Wow.
You don't want to have to work for it. You want to sit there like a vegetable and get 8 games at a time, and it's for 7 hours straight with no commercials. Well, they just decided there's been shift in ownership that's coming up. They're going to put commercials in, and the hue and cry over this from people canceling Red Zone because they can't take a break. First of all, it's a benefit to have a break so that you can go to the bathroom. I've never known exactly what to do. 7 straight hours plus. You really shouldn't trumpet the fact that you watch Red Zone because it's kind of masturbatory, okay? Because Red Zone is basically showing teams.
It's like watching a football game with Robin White.
It's like 7. Look, in the Red Zone is where people are scoring all the time, all right? So it's nothing but, it's like sports porn. It's showing you all the scoring plays that are coming up. There's no build-up. There's no romantic story about how they, got 3 yards and then 2 more yards and had to drive down the field for 70, 80 yards. It's just not. That's why women probably don't like it. It's just, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, in the end zone. So, I'd be embarrassed. But there's a guy with some.
So it's like those other movies without the pizza delivery.
Right. It's just like, look, there was one guy, one of these sports panel shows saying, hey, watch one game at a time. Watch football like an adult. He actually used the word adult. And I'm thinking, So does that mean when I sit there and watch the game and I have a bowl of nachos, I should use a fork to eat my nachos with? Watch a football game like an adult? I mean, nobody's an adult when they're watching a football game. Anyway, it's just interesting. That's what's happening to excuse me, to Red Zone. I mean, how are we going to live with the commercials on that? But you've never availed yourself. Once you do, Tim, I mean, you're hooked. You can't you can't go back to 1st and 10. Let's do it again. No,
I have so many
game.
questions, but I figure our audience already knows all about Red Zone.
Go
more
ahead,
than I
ask
do.
a question. This will be a primer on Red Zone.
So is it live games?
Yeah, live games on Sunday.
Running.
And they go to all the different games.
Huh.
And it's just so exciting. It's just, it's unbelievable. Now, compare that to what, a lot of women might like, which is a TV show that I'm embarrassed to say that I've been watching lately. It's on Netflix. I pray that you're not, but it's a series that I think is 3 seasons, and they're trumpeting it. It's called Sullivan's Crossing. Have you heard of this at all?
I have walked into the TV room when the wife was enjoying it.
There you go. There you go. I knew it's contagious.
I'll tell you exactly what I tell you. I tell you exactly what I told her because there was another show she was watching, and I said, "Honey, I understand why you watched that last one because it had horses in it. There's no excuse for this one.
There's a moment.
Absolutely no excuse.
I mean, it's
one.
Every cliche in the book. I mean, the writing is horrendous. Some of the actors they're okay, but for example, one of the love interests, he has, of course, the dead wife, and he's tossing her ashes into the bay, and there's a wind picking up, and of course, even my wife said her ashes should be going right into his face. Okay, blowing into his face. And I'm thinking
that was Fargo. That was the ending of Fargo.
Oh, really?
No, not Fargo. I'm sorry, Big Lebowski.
Oh, really? The ashes go into the face. Okay. Do they have? Has there ever been a movie where the deceased ashes are snorted? I'm just wondering because I mean that's how much I couldn't stand the show. One of the guys is a lawyer. And he's talking about, he's playing chess with this woman. And he says he played chess all through law school. And I'm thinking, nobody has ever played chess all through law school. Chess takes time. You got to make moves. You got to concentrate. That's time that could be spent studying contracts and torts and property. You don't have time during law school to play chess unless you're on Sullivan's Crossing, and it's just
I wouldn't think so either. I don't see how that would have been. That seems to me that's just going to be more stress on your brain. It seems to me you
right.
You
want
to do something mindless when you're not studying for law school, like watch Sullivan's Crossing.
Exactly. Totally. We should end the show right there, but we got a couple of minutes to go. Maybe
I'm going through the rundown here. I don't see anything about the engagement.
Is Israel taking over?
It's a football story.
Wasn't that last week? Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift.
Was it?
The latest news is
Sullivan's Crossing to talking more about Taylor Swift. This is really millennial girl, Gen Z girl.
It's the D block.
CWTV show.
It's a double D block. Sullivan's Crossing.
The CW show.
There's I think every 10 minutes somebody has an aneurysm, and the neurosurgeon woman, of course, is there to rescue the person.
Sure.
You have that. You have, of course, the celebration of gay romance.
Gotta have one.
And out of wedlock children. Absolutely thrilled over. So I'm glad that at least if they're celebrating those things, it's a poorly done. It's an excellently done, awful show. I mean, they're so cynical. They know about your wife, they know about my wife, and they know how to appeal. And I'm sitting there watching it with her, and I'm thinking, I know I'm scoring points watching this, by just and you
Oh,
could score
really?
more points.
You're actually sitting through it with her?
Yeah. Well, you kind of if you get in the groove.
Wow, you messed up somewhere, didn't you? Oh,
if you get
man.
in the groove, you can actually, okay, what's going to happen next here? Because there's a calamity every 2.5 minutes.
Sure.
And I mean, I'm no screenwriter, but I'm sure I could write this. Well, maybe I can't write it as badly as they do. Maybe there's a knack to that.
I wonder if it was written by AI. It might have been written by AI. That might be that would explain it.
Yeah. Hey.
So we're not talking about the engagement? Is that
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. So no, the news is that Roger Goodell, the commissioner of the NFL, said that it's a possibility that Taylor Swift will perform at halftime of the Super Bowl. And of course, nobody actually, you're not supposed to tip that off. You might deter anybody else from doing it. If it's still an if.
But wouldn't it be funny if she was in the Super Bowl and he was not?
Yeah. Now I would.
Is it he'd have to sit in the stands the entire time and see if the camera went over to him and say, "Oh, there's
yeah,
Travis."
Yeah." And now I liked last year's Super Bowl halftime. It's Kendrick Lamar did not understand a word that he said, and that's fine. That's good, fine with me. Usually there's chatter, amongst the people that are watching at halftime. You're not paying that much attention and you're not really missing anything. With Taylor, I'm imagining that the women anyway will be wrapped in attention and that unfortunately I will be subjected to all the lyrics, which I will understand. Give me Kendrick Lamar, any day of the week as opposed to that. But the season's just starting. We can't really think about the Super Bowl just yet, I don't think. And
I always thought it was it was a contract. I didn't think it was. I was on the side of it was a staged romance.
What are the pictures that you're showing right now?
I pulled up 10 pictures of Jordan Hudson. I'm not going to waste them, so you don't have to talk about it. But
wait, who's Jordan Hudson?
Bill Belichick's girlfriend.
Oh yeah. Okay, very quickly, Bill Belichick's girlfriend was on the sidelines of his first game. No, you're not supposed to be on the sidelines if you're if you're not in uniform.
On the sidelines,
she was just patrolling the sidelines and probably calling the plays, given what North Carolina did in his debut.
Wow.
But that's the ultimate.
Was she a cheerleader? That would have given her an excuse. She looked like a cheerleader. There you go.
No, I think she's not trans, so she couldn't be a cheerleader. All right. Have we shown all the pictures? We gotten them all out? All right. Excellent.
We get requests for more Sydney Sweeney pictures every now and then.
Well, you know what? How about Robin Wright in that final scene there in the bed when she puts her hand underneath the covers? It's so disgusting. It's so horrible. And I can't get the image out of my head. Bruce Wolf, Tim Slagle on the Weekly Wrap.
And that's the Weekly Wrap on radio and television. Follow Bruce at Bruce Wolf Shy on Twitter and Tim at timslagle.com. The Weekly Wrap with Bruce Wolf, a CP Pods production.